What up, good people? What is going on, man? This is the gang right here. I got my boy Z in the building,
Yes, sir.
and this is Vel. You already know what I'm on. This is that big week, man. It seems like it's always a big week, but it's Texans week, aka Stephon Diggs week, aka
Jerry Hughes week.
Jerry Hughes week.
Bobby Woods.
Bobby Woods, man, throwback.
Tim Settle.
Wow. Shit.
They got some.
Pull them out.
Got some ex-Bills on. I don't think we got no ex-Texans on our team, but don't matter.
It don't matter. We here though. This is one of the most important games on the first half of our schedule for a couple reasons. Conference, then you got just the simple fact that you're competing against another top 5 team in the conference. So it's been a couple weeks since we got in touch with y'all. Last week was a rough week, man. Had so much going on in my personal life, work trip to see the youngin' out there in Albany. So it was a lot going on, but needless to say, we back, we here, we in the basement, and it's time to get ready for another week, man. So what's new with you, Z?
Licking my wounds. You know, getting back at it.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that. You know, we all been punched in the face at one time or another. So,
and when you get punched in the face, it's all about how you respond.
Yeah.
As I tell people all the time in life, you're gonna go through a bunch of different changes, a bunch of different ups and downs. But as long as you keep your mind focused on what you can control, 9 times out of 10 you will be good, and you will be going in the right direction. I know for myself, I will let y'all know, the viewers, the listeners, I'm preparing to make a fun and eventful business trip, I should say, out to the gang. So if you're listening on Saturday,
like you about to play.
Yeah, man, it might be. I might have to get out there. You know what I mean? With the injuries that we got, they may need me at safety. They may need me at left tackle.
I would hate to see that.
I know, right? Crazy. Yeah, at this age, one hit, I'm out.
Bro, you would look so slow.
So slow.
I'm like, Vel, no.
Vel, no. And then I'm just out on the ground for 42 seconds. But nah, man, business trip this weekend with the gang, the family, and we are going out to obviously support the Mafia, Josh Allen and company this week. So it should be a fun week. I'll look forward to getting back with y'all next week to kind of give y'all views from the upper deck / views from the
West Coast
state. Yeah, from good old Texas. And it's funny because I was just in Texas 4 months ago to visit a friend out there, my boy C Hill, man. Shout out to him. And Texas got a good vibe to it. Austin is cool.
Agree with that.
Been to Houston once before. Obviously you were there with me last time I went to Houston for my bachelor weekend. But yeah, man. Shout out to Texas, but we're going down there for business. Sorry, we bringing all of New York with us too. There's gonna be a bunch of people from Buffalo, I know, making that trip. So get ready, Texas. That's all I'm gonna say. Get ready, Houston. Get ready for the Mafia takeover, because love what y'all doing and all that, but it's true business. But last time we got with y'all, man, woo. We
got a lot to recap. We coming fresh off the Miami win.
I mean, that was lovely.
That was something.
And we recorded after Miami, so Jacksonville was the next one after that, which was the Monday Night Football game. We did not really get a chance to dive into that, but speaking of the Jacksonville game, man, what was your quick thoughts from that Monday Night Football blowout?
It was fun. Yeah, it was another stress-free game.
Right.
You know, they got ahead early. They was able to do what they want.
Right.
Everybody was able to get a piece of the rock.
Right.
Defense was flying around.
Yep.
Vaughn getting another sack.
Big sack.
Javon Solomon getting his first sack. Casey Toohill getting a sack and fumble recovery. Like, it was just one of those games where everybody, it was an early celebration and stress-free, watching who can make a play. So like that, it was nice. Yeah.
Nah, I'm with you on that. I mean, like I said, it's not too much to dive into, being that it was also about a week and a half ago. But like, great game all around, because you never know when you play a team like Jacksonville, who were desperate team,
hungry and talented at that.
Yeah, and a team that's been a thorn in our side just for multiple reasons.
Decades, their whole existence actually.
Yeah, just annoying. I'll call the Jaguars, but like, to see us still dominate, injuries still going on throughout the team, especially at the key positions like linebacker and safety. It was good to see them do their job. Crowd was great. I think you never got to worry about a crowd for a primetime game in Buffalo. So, I mean, the crowd was as expected. I heard some people say it was the loudest they've heard it. I'm like, that would be tough, because I can't go that far. But it was definitely loud, and especially loud for a blowout, because I know how we can get.
Quick pivot, though. What would you say was the loudest that you've heard the stadium? I'm trying to think.
I got New England, Buffalo up there in the playoffs.
I would say like that Micah Hyde interception.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Like, so during that game.
Yeah, so that game had like 3 or 4 points.
It was really like
where like the stadium, like that was, and that game, mind you, that was the 0 degree weather, 2021 or 2022. I can't remember which year it was.
Freezing out there.
It was freezing, but you didn't feel it because the atmosphere was so fun, so loud. Yeah. Like you said, the Micah Hyde interception in the end zone, Josh Allen shaking people out their boots. I think he threw another one of those sideline tosses, and that one was to Dawson Knox in that game. Emmanuel Sanders touchdown that game.
Long touchdown.
Like, it was so much going on in that game, and just the fact that you're doing it to Bill Belichick. You're beating him 47, I think, to 17 or something like that. Like, that game, I can rewatch that game. Like, there's a handful of games I can always go back and rewatch knowing the end result.
I can watch that one front to back.
Right, and they have that on YouTube. So for those who don't remember, it was Bills, Patriots, 2021, and that was not the divisional wild card, right? It was wild card weekend. Yep, I think it was wild card weekend.
Correct. That
was the game before the 13 seconds game.
Yeah, which was a divisional round.
Yep. So if you ever get a chance, man, listen to the crowd in that game. If you were there, I know y'all can speak to it. But here's my thing. I can't think of another one that I can put top. Now, I wish I was there for the one that Bills played New England back when Ryan Fitzpatrick was here. They were down by 21. Because I've heard that game, that stadium was bonkers that day. Which I can imagine. That was a drought game. Mm-hmm. They come back from down by 21 points. Interception by Drayton Florence gets returned back. I feel like New England is always a part of that. But that's why I say, like, Bills fans are funny. Like, we get up for certain teams. We get up for certain games, and New England is one of those teams. Probably not anymore.
I'll say Dolphins last year.
Dolphins. Oh yeah, Dolphins was a good one.
That week 4 game when they smacked them.
Yeah, Diggs had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think crowd was loud there. You know what? One I'll put up is actually drought era too. It was E.J. Manuel's second game. That last second touchdown against
Carolina against Stevie Johnson.
Yeah. That game was rocking too.
Yeah, and I wasn't there for that either. That was probably was in Albany and Schenectady at that time, but just so many damn loud, crazy, electric moments at the stadium that if you've been to a couple, what's up?
The Nyheim Hines touchdown.
Ooh, again, who was playing? New England? but that was true. That was fresh off of the Damar Hamlin situation.
That first
stadium.
That was different.
Yeah, like I said, man, like you get chills thinking about the different moments that have occurred in this stadium since obviously the Super Bowl teams. But like for me and you, we've been now going to games, been around the team for the last 25, 30 years. So like there are certain games that will forever stand out. And like you said, the Nyheim Hines touchdown, Micah Hyde interception, like you said, Bills Miami playoff wildcard game, you know what I mean? Or the game that was the snow game that they played in December the one year when Bills and Tua went in a shootout back and forth, and it was like snowflakes coming down. They made the announcement, "Stop throwing snow on the field."
That was a fun game.
That was a fun game. Like I said,
it's some fun games,
bro.
Man.
It'd be some fun games, man.
Bakari Rambo interception against Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh, not Bakari Rambo. That's a throwback. You might as well say Cole Simpson.
Hey, man,
shout out to Cole and Pearson Prelo and all them boys.
I'm worth millions.
Yeah,
come on, Cole.
And that's another reason why I got to get my son to a game because the atmosphere and the experiences that you gain, you know, I go back to, I think there was a question that we had one day. I forgot who I was talking to, if you remember your first game. And I reflected back to my first game as a child. And I believe it was my first game going to a game against Pittsburgh. It was like 98, 99, one of those years. I mean, we talking about Cordell Stewart, Jerome Bettis, Kirkland at linebacker, Doug Flutie, though, playing, balling out. Eric Modes, of course, Andre Reed and those guys. So, like, you remember those games, and obviously I have the pictures, too, to show. But, like, you always remember your first regular season one. Like, you can go to a bunch of practice games. You can go to a bunch of preseason games. You always remember those regular season moments. And looking forward to getting my son in on that, you know, whether it's this season or next season. I'm like, you got to experience it. Because once you experience camp, preseason, that's cool. Regular season, though.
And he old enough now.
He is, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, my boy 15, so it's like, you can be able to take this in. You go back home, and you're going to be like, yeah.
Oh, it's different up there.
Yeah. And he knows. Like I said, this is a guy who, in his own bedroom, he got a Von Miller and Josh Allen autograph. So my son is definitely spoiled when it comes to being familiar with the Bills. But one quick last thing before we move on from Jacksonville though too, because I know we're just talking memories and excitement. And then, before we get into the beatdown that Baltimore gave us. Shout out to our friend D-Nell, who survived the game with all Jags gear at the stadium.
Yeah, he came about that jersey though.
Came about that hoodie. Yeah, man. He went a little, fake viral as I call it, for being at the Bills game.
You need to make a decision, bro. It's time.
Yeah, man. Come on over, bro.
Just let it happen.
Let it happen easily. I mean,
you've been playing this back and forth for a long time now, dog. Just come on over.
Yeah, but for those who don't know, we have a good friend of ours who, we've known for 20 plus years, who is a Jacksonville Jaguars fan / Bills fan. I'll let him explain that when he has the time. But he came to the game with us on Monday Night Football. He was sitting in a different section, but whatever section he was in, at one point they must have told him to take off his shirt. And he gracefully did it, though. And that's why I always say, like, you got to hang around and watch events with people who have good sportsmanship. Because one thing I've realized being a passionate fan that I am is, like, you're going to run into those people who don't know how to take L's, who don't know how to take those beatdowns. And it's like,
and just be doing too much.
Yeah, or just, you're right. And it's like, you have to balance it. Because, like, I know I can get to that point where I'm almost doing too much.
Put your hands on.
Right. And that's where I cross the line. It's like, are you going to hear from me? If you go to a game with me, away game or home game, of course, I'm going to have fun with that. And I'm also not going to put my hands on you. Like, unless you disrespect me, I'm not going to go there. So, like, I appreciate when opposing fans, and I know this is a friend of ours, but can respectfully, take the L and follow the commands of the people around. Because that's the funny thing is in the video where you see my boy, there's no Jaguar fans around him. Like, he is surrounded by Bills fans, and they all just cheering and telling him to take his shirt off. So shout out to my boy D-Nell for being a good sport. Because like I said, it's not easy when you're around opposing fans, and I know we'll deal with that a little bit this week, even though we're going to be big gang when we go out there. But, like, it's not easy. But you got to be a good sport. And like I said, I've gone to other stadiums when we lost. It's like, all right, cool. I see y'all. Listen, I see y'all. I remember
take that L.
I remember leaving Tampa Bay a couple years ago, and we lost to them in overtime. Yeah, great game, though. I mean, I still talk about that game. Yeah. Great game against Tom Brady, and we lost in overtime. I remember walking out, people was like, nah, and I'm just like, man, listen, great game. See y'all in the Super Bowl. Because I was like, at this point, I feel like we about to go on a run, which we did. We won like 5 or 6 straight after that game. But like I said, moving on forward, Baltimore. Obviously, we know we have bigger fish to fry coming up with Houston, but we would be we wouldn't do our part if we don't go over the L's too. So, Baltimore, what was some of your biggest takeaways from that game?
I'll say just to play in the trenches. Both sides of the ball just did not get it done. It was pure domination.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball, they just didn't match the physicality. From the Bills' offensive line standpoint, they couldn't get a good handle on their pressure. Not that they even sending pressure at a high rate, but they were doing a lot of simulated pressures and rushing only 4 or 5 and still getting free rushers all day. It's just like this communication wasn't there, the physicality wasn't there. Didn't have time to really drop back and do much of anything, and not opening any holes on the run game.
Right.
D-line was just outmatched.
Yep.
Out physical.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a coaching clinic. I mean, I think that's the biggest takeaway is out-coached on both sides of the ball thoroughly.
Right.
This is thoroughly out-coached. Can't say they didn't have a game plan. I mean, we don't know what the game plan was. But either way, whatever they had queued up was not able to be either executed correctly or just did not have the correct plan for going up against against Baltimore. So I'll say definitely outcoached and definitely lost the battle on both sides of the trenches. And that boiled up to a big L because that type of game plays exactly into the team that Baltimore is.
Right.
If you can't get a handle in that run game, it's a wrap because the way when you have Lamar at quarterback, now we can play games. Right. Now I'm not just gonna hand it off. Now this play action gonna have 4 or 5 different looks to it. I got 2 pulling guards this way, but I'm actually rolling out to the right, even though all the motion is going left. Or nope, I'm gonna fake this handoff here. I got a little pop pass wide open to Justice Hill, who fucking 8. Yeah, I said, whatever. It don't really matter. Right. Either way, once they got rolling like that type of offense, that skill level of offense, it was too late. That ball was rolling downhill right off that first play.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what you said, I mean, it's similar thought process for me. They took advantage of the weaknesses and they did it to a very good extent. They knew they could get the linebackers out of place with the play action. If we would have sat down and talked last week, I would have said the same thing that I told people in person, which was like that running back quarterback versus the Bills linebacker and D line was going to be the biggest matchup of the game because they do so much at the line of scrimmage with Lamar, Derrick Henry, and just the way they move around their tight ends. Like, you have to watch everything because guess what? This is not a game where Likely went off a crazy amount or Mark Andrews went off and had a dynasty game. This was a game where Lamar and Derrick Henry, mainly Derrick Henry, took matters into their own hands and forced those Bills linebackers to stay extremely disciplined because guess what? Taron Johnson, Terrell Bernard, Matt Milano, they can say everything they want to say in those meetings. It's hard to go out there and tell these guys exactly where to be and where to watch their eyes once the ball hits and it's live football. Because you can do all the preparation you want to, but until you really went up against Derrick Henry before, which Balin Spector and Dorian Williams have never went head up against Derrick Henry, and both of them have never really played against Lamar because the last time we played Lamar, it was a completely different linebacker unit. You had Milano out there, you had Edmonds out there, and whoever else you had out there, Taron Johnson and those guys. So, like, this was a brand new experience for...
And different offensive coordinator.
Right, different offensive coordinator. So this is a brand new experience. And like I said, from the sideline, you can try to prepare from it. You can tell them everything you want. But when you let Baltimore get ahead, and I'll leave it at this, they are dangerous because, yes, can they blow leads from time to time? Of course. But you play into their hands when you can't, for whatever reason, score, to keep up with them. Because if you're playing from behind, yes, you can catch up to them. But, like, if you're not executing on offense, they just going to keep doing what they're doing. They're going to keep running the ball. They're going to keep being physical, and they're going to stick with their game plan. Now, how can you force Baltimore out of what they like to do? You got to get up on them.
You got to score.
You got to score. You got to come up with key stops. And they just couldn't get a stop. And that's
third downs.
Too many third down conversions, too many first downs with 7 or 8 yards. So, like, when you can't stop what they're doing, you cannot force Lamar to, as some people say, be a pocket passer. Because there was never a point in that game where Lamar was forced to make a bunch of decisions in the pocket. There just never was a point. Now, come January, come February, mainly January, we'll see if they play him again, if they're able to get the offense going right away, make some key stops, if Baltimore can keep up with the Bills in that type of game. But it has shown in the past. Baltimore is a great regular season team because when they can get a hold of you early and when they can stick to their game plan, they're going to win 90% of their games.
They can stick to that script.
Oh, yeah. They can stick to that script. There's not too many teams that can keep up with them.
It's tough.
Yeah. So for the Bills, the way you learn from this is, like, listen, when teams try to get physical or when teams try to do or try to copycat what the Baltimore Ravens do, which, guess what? 9 times out of 10, these teams can't do it because they don't have Lamar Jackson. And they also don't have Derrick Henry.
Right.
Yeah. So in those types of situations, it will always be different. I'm just trying to see who's at my door because I can't see from here. But anyways, most people can't duplicate what Baltimore do. Point blank, period. So we always just try to tell people the Bills will learn from it. They will get some guys back.
And they do, because, I mean, this isn't the first time. It's the first time in a long time that they've lost a game. I mean, 40 games at the last time they lost by more than 6 points. So, like, it's been a while, but we've had tough losses before. And the one thing that they've always shown is they can make those adjustments and they can, right the ship. Like, there hasn't been, even going back to their first season, there really was never, outside of I think there was like a 2-week stretch with Tyrod and Peterman where there was like 3 weeks in a row where they was trash. But other than that, there was never a situation where there was prolonged issues where they weren't able to right that ship. So I expect the coaches to come up with a better game plan to get these players in positions next time. Mostly, I need the coaches and these 2 young coordinators to learn from this. Because I put this game more at their feet than I necessarily do the players. Right. Because, again...
And you can explain, because I'm going to go check something real quick. Yeah. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, Baltimore, they average over 5 yards... over 5 yards before contact. And the Bills never adjusted to that. I mean, they were still playing with light boxes. As big as and aggressive and as physical as Baltimore's O-line is, we still stayed in nickel, which is, again, we're a nickel defense for the most part, so I don't necessarily expect them to come out of nickel, but you got to bring somebody down in that box, so at least those numbers line up, so we can't just keep letting them run 6, 7, 8 yards a pop and not make those adjustments. Bring a safety down. Bring in another lineman. They even brought Nicholas Moreau out there for a couple snaps, but, they never really made adjustments to counteract what Baltimore was doing from a physicality standpoint. And that was kind of the disappointing part, knowing that Babbage had a plan and McDermott had a plan, but they never really deviated from that. Once that ball started rolling downhill, they never adjusted. And for me, that's the frustrating part, is these coaches need to be able to put these players in the best position to succeed.
Facts.
And when you have a plan that's not working, it's to the detriment of the players. Because, again, I don't think this was a situation where the players went out there and just shit the bed completely.
Nah.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where they were out-coached drastically.
Yep.
And Baltimore was using even Bill's strengths to their advantage. We're a penetrating defense. They said, okay, cool. Come on. We'll invite you in.
We'll invite you in and we'll dump the ball off or just
right
go
behind
by.
you.
Yep.
Right around you. Okay, Ed, you glide through.
Yep.
Okay, Rashard, you put your unnecessarily big fullback behind right on Ed Oliver. Now we got a hole right there. So, using everything against us and us not making those adjustments. That's the frustrating part for me. But I'm excited, as a first-year defensive coordinator, as a still relatively young offensive coordinator.
Yep.
What do they do moving forward? What adjustments do they make?
Yep.
How are you going to become better coaches out of this?
Because the best coordinators, to be honest with you, and we saw a little bit of it in the Arizona game when they were down 17-3. The best coordinators in the game, they can make adjustments on the fly. Oh, okay, you doing this? All right, cool. We're going to counter it with that. And don't get me wrong, the Bills still have moments in that game where I saw some signs of life. Before the trick play situation happened.
They kept shooting themselves in the foot.
Right. There were certain things
drop here, drop there.
Terrible
trick play.
Yeah.
And you just killed all your momentum.
Right. And those are the things, like you mentioned, though, you got to learn from it. Like I tell people all the time, this is a business where even the best coaches have down days, have bad days. But when you got both young coordinators who are within the first 16 games of them calling plays, we're going to see the ups and downs of them being coordinators, as good as they are. Because like I said, first 3 weeks, we were singing their praise. We're like, oh, man, we got the best offensive coordinator in the game, arguably one of the best young defensive coordinators in the game. Look what they doing with this. We got Jamarcus Ingram. We got Cam Lewis. And next thing you know it, 1 week later, we like,
we got Cam Lewis.
So we got Cam Lewis.
We got Jamarcus Ingram.
About that. So when they coming back, so it goes to show you, number one, I always say it's still a week-to-week league. And number two, your backups can normally fill in for a game or two, but sometimes your backups will play like backups, especially when you're going against a team that has a skill. I mean, we going against a Hall of Fame running back. Derrick Henry will end up being in the Hall of Fame because he'll probably be one of the last few running backs to hit 10K. So we're talking about a Hall of Fame running back and likely a Hall of Fame quarterback against probably a Hall of Fame coach. So when you're young coordinators going up against that, you will sometimes look inexperienced. And from the players to the coaches, that's how they kind of look. There were a few people who looked like they were ready for that game, Josh being one of them, because Josh has been there before. Josh has experience going head-to-head with Lamar. Josh has experience going head-to-head in the playoffs against Patrick Mahomes. So the moment will never be too big for Josh Allen. The biggest thing going forward now is, how can I get my young players to understand, hey, when we are playing the Baltimores of the world, when we're playing the Chiefs of the world,
different
the
level
Niners, you got to bring your pads, you got to bring your best clipboard, and as a coordinator, you got to bring your best script. And you better be in tune with the game. So it's a learning experience for those coordinators, but also for those young players who, guess what? Keon, you've been in a bunch of big college games, never been in a big NFL game before. Your biggest NFL game was the Miami game because that was on primetime TV, and maybe the Monday Night Football game, we can call it that, which he didn't have to do much. Right. But, this was a game where it's like you on their turf, and now they pressing you at the line of scrimmage. So now you got to make difficult grabs, which we know is in his DNA. And needless to say, speaking of Keon, I'm glad that he was able to bounce back, because part of your test as a rookie is when you don't come up with a play, how do you respond? And I love the fact that they went right back to him, because it's like, listen, dog, we done seen you do this in practice.
Right.
We done seen you do this in training camp. We've even seen you do it in a game before. So We're going to put that faith in you so that you understand too. We trust you. Just make the damn play. And he came back, made 2 great sideline catches. And I think Keon will just continue to grow. I know right now the talk around town is we need a playmaker, we need this, we need that. Let me tell you something. If Keon can continue his growth and continue to be more confident within his routes, catching the ball, he was brought here to make plays. Like, not just jump balls. He was brought here to make plays. So if he can be a playmaker, hopefully Khalil's ankle is okay for this week. But if Khalil can continue to do what he's been doing, I know Kincaid had a drop that he wants back. But if Kincaid can continue to find spots within the zone and just continue to catch the damn ball and just be productive, this offense will be okay. It's just you have to learn from this and say, hey, from a coordinator standpoint to a player standpoint, we have to be able to come up and make plays when needed, when called upon. And like I said, some of it is due to play calling. Some of it is due to the players executing. But when those two get on the same page, we saw what it looks like for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. When they all humming, these motherfuckers be humming. Yeah. So, like, I'm not losing no faith. It's just this week, 1 p.m., Sunday, let's ride.
And that's the thing. Like, when you lose in this fashion, okay, now I can really see what you're about. So, what changed in this week of preparation?
Right.
What you do differently? Where's your mindset at now? Did you take offense to that loss?
Yep.
Because in my head, you should.
Definitely.
Sunday night football.
Yep.
You got blown
two-time MVP.
So you should take some embarrassment. There should be some pride involved with that.
I know if I was on that football team, I would. Because I'm just like, I can't, 1 p.m. or not, I can't let see us and be like, oh, these boys, oh, here they go. They back to, they can't do this. They need Josh Allen to be Superman. And, like, Josh shouldn't have to feel like that. I want Josh to understand, and I'm pretty sure he do. Like,
and I still don't think he has to be.
He don't. And that's the thing. Like, if they get back to the basics of, hey, let's play our style of offense. Let's execute, though, from an execution standpoint. So let's catch the ball when we need to catch the ball. Let's run hard when we need to run hard. Let's block like we got some damn sense, and we'll be fine. Because Josh is still a top 2 quarterback in this league. He just didn't have much of an opportunity, I would say, on Sunday to showcase that. But even in the limited amount of times when they were getting some traction, he still showed he can give you that 1 highlight play, 2 highlight plays. I mean, to throw to the sideline out of bounds in midair, 54-yard completion, that's just become the Steph Curry 3. Right. You know, when it comes to Josh, you let him roll right,
and it's such a stupid play. Not as stupid as in a bad decision, but like you're not supposed to be able to do that.
It's stupid. Like, I got up on my chair when I saw that because I'm like, dude, why? Why are you so damn good rolling to your right out of bounds?
Like, you're not even on the ground anymore. The fact that he can throw the ball that far with no feet on, like, he's in the air making that.
And
throw.
You watch the defense collapse on him because the whole defense, they thinking the same thing.
This play is
they like if we rush you, in which I think he's going to start to change the way defensive coordinators tell them to rush him when he goes to his right. Because I really think what's about to happen, especially if I'm a defensive coordinator against Josh, I'm going to say if he rolls right, I'm damn near willing to take the 5 or 6 yards if he just runs. Like, I'm willing to back off. Like, you seeing guys on Baltimore, they did it on that play. Everybody within 10 to 15 yards of him just started running towards Josh. Yeah. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm just saying, bet, right? And he just said, why y'all watching him? I'm
going to go find
because y'all trying to hit him or do whatever y'all trying to do. I'm going to go the other way, and I'm gonna get an open space because I know my quarterback can find me. So great job by Shakir, but if I'm a defensive lineman or a linebacker, why am I rushing Josh on that play? But I get it. He's such a multi-dimensional threat. You don't know, right? Yeah. But you also are scared of the run threat. So when you see him run to the sideline, you don't know if he's gonna make your defensive lineman miss and get 10 yards for the first down. So I get it, but guess what? Honestly, I hope defensive.
That's the type of pressure that those type of quarterbacks can make.
And it's only.
Yeah, and you know it's funny though. A lot of times you say
short.
There's only a couple people
in the world
or in the league that can make that.
But then
throw.
You got to be like,
is it? Literally, he is the only quarterback who is making these.
Yeah, like statistically.
Statistically,
right.
1 yard within the line of scrimmage. He
6 for 7 or something like that.
He's the only one making
3 touchdowns,
making these throws, and
dude's an animal.
It's
a pleasure to watch him play. That's all I can say, man. You know, we waited 20 years to watch a quarterback do the things that he does. And mind you, this is 4 games in. He has 0 interceptions. So, like, we're not even talking, well, he's going to make that play, but he also going to throw you 5 picks. Like, this is a guy right now, I believe 9 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Of course, you had one game where your whole offense was just out of rhythm. But, like, make no mistake, this week, Houston week, we're going to get right to it. So, with that being said, I do want to get right to Houston. We're right around the halfway point here. So, when we're talking Houston, we know what every news outlet and everybody going to talk about. We want to go outside of that. We know that that's going to be with the eyeballs and what the conversation will be around. But Z, I'll ask you first. Do you have any favorite matchups going into the game? And mind you, I will pause and say I do understand that there are some questionable reports, as far as like who will be available, who will not. So that may kind of taint this whole discussion because we don't know if Joe Mixon or some of these guys are playing. But just from afar, a few days away, man, what do you see as some of your favorite matchups?
Yeah, so I will say, again, my opinion on this game, not necessarily who I think will win or lose, but I think a big factor in this game, in my opinion at least, is the health of Joe Mixon.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is, they got Cam Akers. He's a serviceable.
Yeah, Cam Akers, he can get busy.
Serviceable running back.
Yeah, he can get busy.
He's not trash. He's not
right.
What he was billed coming into.
Yeah, he's no bum.
But he's
no bum.
He's fine.
Yep.
But I still think Joe Mixon's a better caliber of running back to this point in their careers.
Right.
So his availability, I think, will make a big difference in this game. But what I do want to say is, if there's any position on the Bills that I feel comfortable with, it's these corners.
Yes, sir.
So they got some dogs at receiver. Nico Collins is proving to be, I think top 10 is not even good enough.
It's not, because he's getting there, because he's like,
he is.
Yeah, he in that combo of top 5.
Yeah, and I think he probably has to be put in that top 5. But however you want to put it, solidly top 10 receiver in this league, without a doubt. So you have him. If Tank Dell is back in the game, you got Tank Dell. Obviously, you got Steph Diggs. Those 3 alone could be game breakers.
Yeah.
But again, I got Douglas, who I feel great about. I got Benford, who I feel great about. And if Taron Johnson can get back this week, who's starting to practice on a limited basis, I feel great.
Yeah,
about their ability to cover receivers.
Put his arm in metal. I don't care. What is it? An arm injury?
Yeah, what's my man name from Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Jax.
Yeah, just wrap him up and all that. Just put him out there because I know his feet work.
Right. 100%. But like that's the group that I feel most comfortable about, and that is also the strength of Houston.
Yeah, and I'll throw even Ingram in there because I feel like whether or not they want to throw Cam Lewis back in the equation out there in those nickel situations, if Taron can't go, I'd like to see more Jamarcus Ingram in this game, just because I know Ingram has the length. He has the flexibility to play both outside and inside. Mm-hmm. If they got to do a matchup, one-on-one matchup zone, whatever, I know Ingram won't get lost in space. Like, you can maybe catch Cam in a misdirection or maybe get him to miss a tackle or two, but, like, Ingram is one of those people from that corner group I really feel confident about if Taron can't go to be able to just step into a role of, guess what? Whether they putting Diggs in the slot or outside, I got 3 corners who I know can at least do their best to be in position. Now, whether they can come up and make the play on the ball and intercept it, that's another story. But I would love to see if he can get an increased role this week if Taron Johnson can't go. But go ahead.
Yeah, because, again, with Stephon Diggs specifically, there is a lot of knowledge both ways. Mm-hmm. Diggs has been going against Benford for 3 years. He's been going against Kyer Elam for 3 years. He's been going against Douglas for a year now. Cam Lewis, 3 years. Like, he's been going against these players, and they've been going against him in practice day in and day out. So they know each other. They know each other's tendencies. They know what they like to do. They probably know their tells. So, like, there's a lot of information that's available. So who's going to get the better end of that matchup?
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to see.
That's the best matchup of the week. I mean, to be honest, and I know we're coming off a game where we were just speaking about physicality and in the trenches. I do think DeMeco Ryans, he's a physical style of a coach. He going to definitely have some running involved, but like You can't tell me with everything going around this game, the narratives going both ways, that we will not see some wide receiver cornerback action in this game. So, like, that has to be the number one most exciting
The physicality between these corners and receivers this week is going to be through the roof.
Yeah, Rasul might get a flag or two, and I hope it's not in a bad spot, like where it's like fourth quarter, a minute left. But like, as savvy as Rasul is, from a veteran standpoint, he will probably try early on to set a message.
And throw Kyer and Elam in there.
Oh yeah, that's it.
All them training camp
fights. All them training camp fights.
Let them boys go out.
Yeah, let Diggs get heated and throw a little
jab out.
Throw a little jab to the helmet. Guess what? Penalized, out the game. Now you upset because you got to watch in the locker room.
But I like that type of energy though.
Oh yeah,
like
give it to me. Both ways.
This is a game where the physicality needs to be.
The
Bills didn't match Baltimore's physicality at all.
But they got to do it this week.
But this week, they need to
on every level.
Big boy football.
On every level, right? Dorian Williams, we know you're going to be out there.
This is not a passive zone.
Nah.
We got to get up there, get physical, get hands on.
And ain't your boy from Houston too, Ed Oliver? You had 0 tackles last week. And I know they did different things on you and all that shit. But guess what? If you want to be a primetime defensive tackle in this league, this is the kind of week you back in H-Town. Mm-hmm. You back in H-Town, Ed Oliver.
Yeah,
this is the kind of week.
At home.
This is the kind of week I need you to do like you did Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever year that was. Because, bro, we need something from every level this week. And that's the important thing. I think the most exciting matchup is what you said, cornerback, wide receiver, just because of everything that you mentioned. But if I'm looking at the front seven, I'm saying, bro, whether they're using a tight end in Dalton Schultz, whether they're using Joe Mixon if he's healthy, P. Ryan, whoever they're using, Cam Akers like you mentioned, Chuck, C.J. Stroud, we know he can take off. So, like, the front seven just got to bring it.
This is a game where I need our best players up front to be our best players. I need Rousseau to step up.
Oh, man.
I need Oliver to step up.
Yep.
This is a game where I said I would need Vaughn, but,
Yeah, it is what it is. And I know he hates it because he's back in in Texas.
But it is what it is.
It is.
You
do what you do. You
made your bed.
Exactly. So, yep, you made your bed, got lay in it. But
it is.
I mean, like you said, all of those playmakers who, hey, maybe you felt you didn't put your best foot forward last week.
Make up for it.
This is the ultimate week. And like I said, there are young guys who've never been in this situation, the Javon Solomons, the Balin Spectors, on offense, you can go to Keon Coleman and those guys. Some of these guys have never been in these situations. But I do feel a lot of these guys are built for these situations. Mm-hmm. Keon Coleman, Ray Davis. You talk about on the opposite side of the ball, is this a chance for even Dwayne Carter to have an increased role after the signs that he showed late in the game against Baltimore? So I'm looking at the young guys, but I'm also looking at, like you said, those veterans who know what type of game this is going to be, to just step up. Like there is no Von Miller coming for this game. There is no Stephon Diggs out there, or Gabe Davis out there to make plays. So guess what? Khalil Shakir, if you're healthy, time to make some plays. Keon Coleman, guess what? Maybe this is your first 100-yard game. Maybe this is the game where you break away from a tackle and go 70 yards. I called it a couple weeks ago, and it didn't work like that, but still got yourself in the end zone.
Yeah, because, regardless of what plays out this week, Khalil is not going to be 100%.
He's not.
So
somebody from that group, whether it's Curtis Samuel.
And I'm looking at those two. I'm looking at Curtis Samuel, and I'm looking, because first of all, I shouldn't have to lean on Mac Hollins or Valdez Scantling to be the guy to step up.
Definitely
it's my second round receiver or Curtis Samuel.
Right.
That is who.
Right.
Okay. I need somebody to come up here and make
my my top four going into this week on the offensive side of the ball, in no particular order: James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman, and Curtis Samuel.
It's Dylan.
But for real, those core four, and I'll just call it core four, because like I said, this is not knowing how healthy Khalil will be. Those four right there have to be prepared to make plays. Because let me tell you something. If you think you're going to walk into Houston and just hold them to 7 points.
That ain't happening. Even though they haven't had amazing offensive showings, but they still can put up points.
They going to come ready.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And the thing is, one of the things I'm excited the most about is I know Josh Allen has to be sick of hearing about Diggs. Yeah. And saying, I can't do this.
Bro, both of these guys are competitors.
Or only reason you put up these numbers is because Diggs.
Bro.
Oh, that's how you feel? And that's what you think?
And he remember what his brother was tweeting last year, 14 made, blah, blah, blah. It was a lot that happened over the last 2 to 3 years. And I think both guys like Josh and Diggs, the reason why they worked for 4 or 5 years, they are two of the top competitors in all of football. I mean, you can't name me 7, 8, 9 more guys that are more competitive than those two at their positions. You know, from a wide receiver standpoint, there's not many who have the fire Diggs have. From a quarterback position, there's not many that have the fire Josh Allen has. So, like, now that they're on separate teams, oh, it's definitely going to be a quick, bro, pregame, you know what I mean? Da-da-da. They're going to probably do a quick sum. You know, it's going to be commercial. It might be commercial. It might be and we strictly business, put the headphones back on. But, like, I can't wait to rewatch the game already, and the game ain't even start because I'm going to be in the stands. But I know that there's going to be different camera angles I'm going to miss and all of that. So I'm looking forward to that when I get a chance to rewatch it on Monday. But it's just a lot. This week, man, like I said, Bills, now that we're in this Josh Allen superstar era, I'll call it, it seems like every week is a fun matchup. And this just happens to be, you look at the schedule when it's released, people thought it'd be prime time, which, I wouldn't argue that. But, like, this was one of the matchups everyone circled because this is what it's all about. Mm-hmm. This is what the NFL is about, is you find that guy who was working with this guy, and now they no longer teammates, and now they got to go at it in the same conference. Now who going to come on top? So, should be a fun matchup. I don't want to waste too much time diving into those two, but I do want to say we get into predictions a lot. Bold predictions, stat line predictions, all of that fun stuff. But who do you see really? Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. If the Bills were to take a victory on this weekend, who do you see having the most impact?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
This is a game where Josh Allen is going to put the cape on. Again, I mean, the defense was vulnerable last week. The offense did not hold up their end of the bargain. Right. He's going to not let that happen 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
I think this game completely hinges on what he does. Regardless of what the defense does, regardless of what the running game does, or even the passing game, or the receivers do, this is a game where he is going to have to be the guy and show the world that I'm Josh Allen. I'm one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the world. Right. And you may have X, Y, and Z in your team, but I'm still that guy. Like, he's going to be the one that has to win this game.
Right.
Because right now, with the way the offense is moving, it's still all on his shoulders. He's not having to do those Superman heroic plays, but again, he's the one still facilitating everything. So I think this is a game that he's going to show the world, like, yeah, I'm that guy. I can put up numbers.
Yeah.
I know it's been a quiet year from a number. I know I got touchdowns. I don't have any picks. I haven't made crazy, spectacular plays, but that's still in my playbook. I still know how to do that. Yeah. It's in my bag.
Right.
I can Euro step with the best of them. So I think this 100% this game is, for me, it's all Josh Allen. Especially if Khalil Shakir is hobbled.
Yeah.
In any way, I think this is definitely a game where Keon Coleman is going to have to step into that limelight.
Yeah.
Because the way that defenders are playing Kincaid, they're giving him a ton of attention.
Right.
Which is why I'm thinking he doesn't have a ton of crazy numbers, because he's drawing the most attention on this offense.
Yes, he is.
So I'm guessing that trend is probably going to continue, and they're going to dare someone else to beat them.
Right.
Okay, Keon, I'm looking you dead in your
one-on-one,
face.
because right now all he getting is one-on-one matchups.
Yeah. So you one-on-one. Okay, I need you to make something miss.
Yep.
I need you to be able to catch that ball, make a play, and get upfield. Yeah. That's the next step, I think, for Keanu. And guess what? We got a small sample size. I mean, he probably got, all of 8 or 9 targets. But I think the next step for me is, like, can we get to a point in this offense where we get Keanu in space, not just on the sideline, but let's get him in space and let's get him going north or south, if we want to call it that. Like, let's get him upfield, because I know once that guy get moving, that dude is tough to break down. We saw that in college. We saw his athletic ability on the basketball court. Like, his style and his body type, you're not just getting that guy down with a simple wrap around the shoulders or wrap around the waist. Like, he is a guy who can catch it, break tackles, and go. So really excited to see what that looks like. For me, the offense is really going to come down to, obviously, the run game, getting back that motion. They showed signs of it last year. But also, I'm thinking the big one that I'm hearing whispers about, but I feel like they don't want to say too much, is Curtis Samuel. I think that they've been critiqued
respectfully, because I feel like there's a reason to critique some of the things that they've done with him.
100%.
Because you have to start using him as a natural receiver. Because
there's no way that this is the plan you have for him coming in.
Nah.
This can't be what you had in mind.
Nah.
So I don't know how much the toe was affecting him.
Right.
Or just
that could be a possibility, right?
The lack of time on task with Josh and the rest of the offense, because you were hurt and missed a considerable amount of time.
Right.
Or what? But this can't be what y'all had in store.
Nah, we need Curtis. We need Curtis the wide receiver. We need Curtis the wide receiver and
not Curtis as
the
Isaiah
gadget.
McKenzie.
Right, exactly. Because he's better than Isaiah McKenzie.
But that's the role he's playing.
Right, and they've moved him down. They've reduced him into that role, which is again frustrating for fans because we're like, we've seen this guy have explosive.
Right. I can bring KJ Handler up to do that.
Right. Yeah. We've seen this guy have explosive moments in Carolina. We've seen this guy and what he brought to Ohio State University when he was there going back 8 years ago. But like, this is a guy that can actually play receiver and play it at a pretty good level. He did it with Washington when they had no quarterback. So like, I want to see them and him get more active in this passing game because I feel like we are now getting to a point where desperation is going to start to come in when you look at the wide receiver room and say, okay, who's going to, outside of Khalil Shakir, in the receiver room, and we know Keon is going to continue to build, but who else is going to be that reliable, all right, I can get it in his hands and he can give me 15, 20, not just 6 yards, not just 4 yards, no. Who can give me some playmaking ability from that receiver room outside of those big two? Because like I said, Khalil, Keon, K and K, we know throughout this whole season, they will be used plenty to put points on the board. But you still got to have that third wide receiver. You still got to have that guy when all fails. Guess what? Oh, Khalil, not open. Keon, not open. I need to be able to go to Curtis Samuel, and he needs to be able to produce me a big play. So I think this might be a game to watch Curtis Samuel. I'm hoping I'm right because I've been every week picking a different player that I want to see kind of like break out. But I think this would be a good week to do it because I think that they know Kincaid, like you said, is important. We already talked about Khalil Shakir. We talked about what Keon can bring. We know what James Cook can bring. But if you Curtis Samuel, this would be a great week to kind of pop out and show who you are. And for Joe Brady, this is a great week to use him. So I'm going to go with that as my player to watch on offense. On defense, is there anybody that you keying in on that you think can have a big day?
Oh, 100%. It has to be Greg Rousseau.
Greg.
It's time. It's time because, again, we've seen it in spurts. We've seen it in stretches, but we still have not seen a stretch of domination.
6, 7, 8 games in a row.
Like, it's time for you to step up. You in your contract year.
Yep. Do it every week.
Are you going to be that dog?
Right.
That demands
week in and week out
the level of attention of a top
TJ Watt, Myles Garrett. Right. And that's not to say you got to be a top 3 defensive
correct.
end,
I mean, there's 5 of those in the league at most.
But you need to at least, because you can't go from what you did in Pittsburgh in preseason or what you did week 1, which was completely dominant. You can't go from that to being non-existent.
Yeah,
like I mean,
you've made last week withstanding because no one on that D line did anything.
Right.
But I mean, you've made plays. You've made your presence felt those first 3 weeks, 100%. Like you didn't necessarily get the numbers every game, but your presence is felt on the field.
Right.
But we need those sack numbers. Yeah. We need those hits. We need those pressures.
Those tackles for loss.
Yeah, this is a game where I need Greg Rowe, especially with Von Miller out.
Yeah.
This is a week where I need you to be the dog. I need you to be that guy.
Ed and Greg, both of them to me.
100%.
But definitely Greg, like you said, because with having Von out, you need a defensive end to be able to make a difference. But them two together, like the D-line cannot have another quiet game. Mm-hmm. And I want to say for the rest of the year, but for real, for the rest of the year, because that is the most tenured group, when it comes to veteran presence. Like there's not a lot of young guys on that group. Dwayne Carter being a lone, rookie on that group, but you got experience on that group. I mean, if I was to calculate them all, we got over 20 years of experience with Daquan having about 10 years. We know Von, when he comes back, adds his years in there, throw Greg in there.
About 48.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Epinesa got fired. So, like, that is your most experienced group. So, y'all need to be the ones to set the tone. And that's the way McDermott wants it anyway. He don't want the corners to set the tone. He don't want the safeties to set the tone. He wants the D-line to set the tone. So, definitely word on that. And the last part I'll add before we go game time predictions on this one, Cole Bishop. I am excited to see an increased role from him because I think he deserves it. I think we've waited 3 or 4 weeks now to be like, okay, is he fully healthy? I think he's fully healthy now. We know with the injuries to Taylor Rapp.
Yeah, we may not have a choice whether he's fully healthy now.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, he may not have a choice, but I think now is the perfect time to say, listen, healthy or not, we need to get you on the field. With the other guys, I'm saying, we need to get him back in one of those safety positions. Damar Hamlin had probably his worst week through 4 weeks last week. Just couldn't get his hand on anybody. So I'm looking at Colt Bishop as my one of my keys to the game is if he can be a disruptor at the line of scrimmage, if he can just be in the passing lanes. They got some good tight end play going on there. So I'm looking for Colt Bishop, in his first real regular season action.
Okay.
To try to give us some light at the safety position. But moving right along, man, what you got as far as bold stat line prediction of the week? What do you got?
Still ain't getting my Ray Davis, Dawson Knox parlay touchdown.
Nah,
I did get a Ray Davis.
You got a Ray Davis.
I'm
about to say you got a Ray Davis
touchdown.
touchdown.
That one, but it's time that banish up. It ain't happening.
Yep.
In the same game. But I am sticking with my parlay.
Okay.
So
Go ahead,
I got receivers parlay.
Okay.
I got 75. Let's say over on 75 yards receiving for Keon Coleman.
Okay.
And over 75-yard receiving for Curtis Samuel.
I like it.
Both of them over 75 yards this week.
Cool. For me, I'm gonna go offense and then we'll go defense once. If you have a defensive prediction, if not, cool. Because I don't think I have a defensive one this week outside of Rasul Douglas maybe getting a fourth quarter interception. I want to kind of sprinkle that in there, put that in the thin air. But now offense, man, I got two guys that we kind of talked about finding the end zone, and then that'd be Curtis and Keon Coleman. I think they'll get both receiving touchdowns on the day, and I think when all is said and done, Josh Allen wins AFC Player of the Week for the second time in 5 weeks. So that's my bold prediction. Like I said, we need our receivers to make up for kind of like the lackluster effort that we saw last week, even though the whole offense was out of rhythm. But and that's not to say I don't think the running backs will have something to say in this game. I think James Cook should be productive. I know Houston is a physical defense. They mimic the style of D'Amico Ryan, so they are going to be bringing the hits. But I just think that with the mindset of Allen coming into this game, he's going to want to play at an extremely high level. And I think if those receivers are ready, if Keon is ready, if Curtis is ready, they're going to catch everything coming their way, and they're going to get upfield, and they're going to make some plays. So touchdowns on them. Josh Allen, I won't give no overall stat prediction, but I'll just say he'll win AFC Player of the Week.
Okay.
All right. What you got for the score total, man?
Score total. I think this is a game. I think this is a game that's going to be won in the 20s.
Okay. I agree.
Don't think it's going to be a crazy high scoring thing, but I think there will be points scored.
I like it.
I think it's going to be a close physical match. I do think Bills are going to come out on top, and I have a score of 27-24.
27-24. Okay, that sounds like a pretty good game, especially to watch on TV. I'm going to go a little lower than you. I'm going to go 23-17. I think that the juice and the excitement will mainly come in the first half. I think second half you'll see a lot more defense being played, and that's why I predict the fourth quarter interception by Rasul Douglas, or shit. If any of our corners want to make a play in the fourth quarter, that'd be nice. But I think it'll start off maybe some fireworks, maybe early, maybe 14 at the half or something. But I think that'll die down, may get some field goals mixed in there. That's why, fingers crossed, Tyler Bass can oh my gosh, can just refocus. That's all I got to say, man. Your first couple years with the Buffalo Bills, man, you were damn near a 90% kicker. So it's like, whatever you need, Tyler Bass, man, I'm praying for you, because I don't know if you're just in the wrong mental state, or maybe you're dealing with some injuries we won't know about. But
I switch up the eye black.
Yeah, man, get the eye black back on. I've been telling people, get the swag back. But nah, Tyler Bass, man, we really might need him this week. Not to say that we want to beat Houston with field goals, but like when you play in a close game, you need to make your field goals. You need to make your extra points. So I got 23-17 Bills. Yes, I'm being a homer, but I also feel like the Bills under McDermott normally don't lose back-to-back games, especially if they get smacked. This is a team that if they get smacked, they normally respond well. The biggest key for me, though, is that you are missing 7 or 8 of those veterans who used to be able to rally the troops. So now, without Poyer, without Hyde, without Trey White, without Edmonds and those guys, who's going to be the veterans who step up and say, hey, this not like us. Let's go out there and let's play Buffalo Bill football. Because the coaches, like I said, they can say everything and come up with the best game plan. Those players on the field got to be able to put up a shut up. And like I said, led by Josh Allen, I'm not worried because he is one of those guys where if you need a quarterback who can get you going in the right direction, you got your guy. It's just a matter of can they consistently put points on the board against Houston, because they're going to put the pressure on them. Like I said, Houston, they may come out first drive, just gunning. Boom, 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 7-0.
But again, the Bills have historically given up drives on that first touchdown, and then they can clamp it down from there. So it's going to be a game of runs.
Right.
Houston going to get theirs. Buffalo going to get theirs.
Right.
But who can make those key adjustments and
key stops,
make the right
like I said,
ball at the right time? Who's going to make the tough third down? Who's going to come up with a big stop? And whoever is able to do that.
Man, that cornerback wide receiver matchup.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Oh my gosh,
it's going to be
Douglas and Benford. Prayers to y'all, because y'all gonna have your hands full. But if I know anything from the first 4 games, is that Benford gonna be ready. I know Douglas gonna be ready, and whoever else can get out there, whether it's Taron Johnson, Ingram, whoever, Cole Bishop, fuck it. I know them boys gonna be ready. But we always like to pick 2 from around the league before we wrap it up. I know we got a few minutes here, so I don't know if you got a chance to look at the schedule yet, but we're gonna try to notate this time because I feel like.
I was gonna do it, but I just want to pivot to.
You just want to pivot? All right.
I just want to pivot to NBA because listen, I need your thoughts on this Knicks trade.
Yeah, remix, rewind.
Normally we got our locks and $100 of the week, but as a Knicks fan in training and next to a lifelong Knicks fan, some big moves that just took place. In case you haven't or don't follow the NBA. There's a little bit of upheaval that just took place. Vale's favorite player, Julius Randle, is dearly departed. I will first say that as much slander that I've given Julius Randle, I must give him his flowers and give him his respect because he was a very vital piece in this turnaround.
Yeah, for sure.
In an era where not a lot of players been trying to go to New York and ball out, he showed up. He did his part, and but now it's time to get your ass out. And I've been asked for that for the last year and a half now. Because
I mean he is one of the most polarizing players that we've had in the last 5 years, mainly because after Carmelo Anthony, for those who don't know, we didn't really have an all-star on the team or an all-star that even wanted to play for the Knicks. But he got picked up on the Knicks about 5 years ago, and he was with the team through a couple rough years.
And he did his thing. He held his own.
And he got better each year. And that's the one thing I can say is, I know he had maybe one down year in there that he saw a couple boos and he was kind of upset with the fans. Why y'all booing me?
But he was a consistent all-star.
Yeah, consistent all-star.
All-NBA team.
All-NBA team one of those years.
He did his thing.
Yeah, and he played with, I always tell people, if you're going to play for the Knicks, one thing that you have to show is heart. One thing that you got to show is passion, because Knicks fans, we respect that more than anything. And like I said, as a person who really the last, 15, 20 years really just started getting back really into hardcore rooting for him, it's been tough because we haven't always had players who just brought it. But Julius Randle, every night, whether you agree with some of his shots or agree with some of his passes in the air, I mean, he would drive me crazy some nights. I ain't gonna lie. If I check my timeline, I put in his name next to my name, there's probably some tweets where I was like, yo, Jew, take the bus home. All right. But
it's that ISO, man.
Yeah, man. He had some crazy attempts. But like you said, in a nutshell, though, he brought it. He took the booze. He took the slander at times. But when we went on our runs, he was a part of that. And then last year, dealing with the injuries, I mean.
Yeah, last year was tough.
Yeah, you could see it from his face. And I think I heard an interview that he had with Carmelo and Merrill on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, where he kind of explained how he felt. I watched that interview about 2-3 months ago, the emotions that he felt, having to watch him on the sidelines, not wanting to go to the games because he was just he didn't want to be a distraction. So when you really get to know a player outside of just what they do on a court, you really start to appreciate what they do more. I know his wife and his sons, especially his oldest son, 7-year-old, so involved with the Knicks. I mean, that boy was going to every game, Yeah, I mean, like his son was a bundle of joy to watch at the games too. So like to Jew and his family, obviously best of wishes going out to Minnesota. And then the same thing with my boy Black Dante, White Dante, the Italian man, Big Ragu. He had so many nicknames in 1 year. He only played with us for 1 year, but Dante DiVincenzo, man, he became a crowd favorite just from toughness.
I was so sad he was in this trade.
Yeah, me too.
So,
That's what made
sad.
me the worst.
I said, come on, man. You couldn't figure out anybody else to get rid of. It had to be Dante in the trade.
Dante,
for me, like, that's the trade that hurt the most. Because, honestly, I feel like with the trades they made in the last couple years, Randall doesn't necessarily fit this core that's there now.
Right, yeah.
I think from a defensive side and a grit side he does, but offensively I don't feel like he fits anymore.
Right.
So, like, for them to ship him off, it makes sense. The DiVincenzo part hurts me, just from a defensive side and a shooting side.
Yeah,
so
shooting
like
part.
Now it's like, all right, so you ship off your most clutch shooter that you have right now.
Right.
So who's filling that gap? Is it Bridges' turn now to step up?
Yeah, and that's how I had to look at it, was that, you know, if you do a 1-for-1 with the players that they added, it's like, okay, you add in Karl Anthony Towns, we know that's replacing Julius Randle. You didn't have Mikal last year in the playoffs, so that's essentially going to be your Dante DiVincenzo, but just with let's say a different but higher skill set, because Mikal can still consistently give you 20 points a game, where Dante was your J.R. Smith. It was like, I can get you 31 game or I can get you 12. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like Dante was a great spark plug, high energy, a glue guy, because hey, I'm playing with my Nova boys. So we got that Nova connection.
Gritty.
Yeah, real tough cat. Great shooting, like you mentioned. So definitely gonna miss that. And just his swag.
That moment, man. That three.
Oh my gosh, 3 against Philly.
That moment is just always gonna be there now. I'm just like, dang,
bro. He has some moments, and that's why I said, to play one season and have Knicks fans feel like that about you.
Not even a full season.
Right. Like, I hope Dante understands how much he was appreciated here. And I think both players do know. But, like, not too many players can say, yo, I played for one team for 1 year, and the team was dead, like, banging on the floor that I left.
Yeah. And I honestly, I feel like Randall's going to be a nice fit in Minnesota.
It is. I mean, honestly, both. Like, Dante is going to have to carve out some type of minutes there, just because they got McDaniels and a couple other wing guys over there. But, like, if you put in a lineup with Ant, Dante, Jew, you want to throw in Gobert, even though I don't really like his game, but Conley, or even a young cat that they got, point guard that they drafted, like, they can get a little creative with their lineup and really give people some problems, because I feel like Jew definitely fits that West Coast. I mean, shit, he came from the West Coast from playing with the Lakers, but, like, he can bang in the West, you know, with those guys, you know, and they needed some extra toughness. And that's not to say Karl Anthony Towns is not tough, but, like, Jew is a different type of tough.
Yeah, Jew's dog.
Yeah, that's down south muscle type of energy that I know Ant gonna love. Like, I know Ant, he gonna miss Cat, but like Ant gonna love Jew. Now is he gonna piss him off sometimes when he going ISO? Of course. But same thing with Dante. Ant being able to have a guy like Dante pulling up from the court 30 feet, splash.
It's gonna be fun.
Man, listen, I was already feeling Minnesota last year, so don't give me another reason to like
sad we couldn't see the Villanova Knicks.
I know, man. The Nova 4, man.
Like that'd have been dope to see, man. Just like, we couldn't wait.
But some things are too good to be true.
Second week of the season to make this trade.
But I also do feel like, I mean, I say it every time and again, and we'll get out of here in a couple minutes, but like, some things are too good to be true, because when that Mikal Bridges trade happened and we were sitting there with 4 Nova guys, sitting there with our full roster, I'm telling C Hill and other people, yo, this is a 60+ win team, because literally, as stacked as they were, having 4 core guys who won championships together in college, having Julius Randle coming back, having the big man Mitchell Robinson eventually getting ready, which that's a different discussion. That's a different discussion. Maybe. Yeah, we'll say that for a different pod. Yeah, he might get traded, but
can he stay injury free? Like,
right?
Can he stay on the court?
But bringing back the MVP and Jalen Brunson, they got a great young point guard who I want to see develop out of Marquette that they picked up in the draft. I want to see him develop. So it's going to be a lot to watch. I'm trying to give Cat a chance. I will be honest with you, man. I've slandered Cat in the past. Shit, I slandered Cat the day we traded for him. But at the same time, I do realize he is a skilled big man. I do realize he's a 40% plus.
That brings some shooting to that spot.
40% from deep his whole career. 50% from the field. He can protect the rim if you put him in that position. Has high IQ.
Yeah, he's not a bully.
Yeah, he's not a bully, but like he plays the game well.
He brings a game that we haven't had a player at that, I mean, what Porzingis is the closest.
Porzingis can stay healthy, but
right, but that's the closest to someone of that size and type of offensive ability.
Because they tried it with Bargnani, that didn't work. Amari was more within the 18-foot range, so it wasn't the same. But we haven't had a big man with his skill set ever.
Yeah, I was talking
because you can't even go Patrick, because Patrick was still 18.
Different game, yeah.
14. So this is a guy who from 26 feet, 27 feet can pop it, but also can get inside. Watching him drain, he can finish with either hand. He can pass the ball. He can block shots. So again, will he be embraced? Of course, because guess what? It's New York. Once we see you playing well,
we good.
We all right, cool. And then I'm a man half Dominican, so the Dominicans gonna be out there in the tri-state area. He got family out there in New Jersey, so I'm sure they'll be all at the game. So it's all gonna work out. I just think on both sides it was unexpected. Mm-hmm. So both fan bases are I don't want to take this. But if I know Knicks fans like I know them, and I know myself, show me something. Once you show me a little something, which we're talking about 4-time All-Star, but once you show me something in a real game situation, I think they play Boston opening night.
Oh, we good.
Yeah, kill Porzingis. That's all I ask you to do. Have Porzingis come out there a couple times, pump fake, dunk, stare at the crowd or do something. Oh yeah, game on. Mm-hmm. Jersey sales going straight to the roof. Yeah. 100%. So ball out, cat. Knicks tape gonna get behind you, and we'll see where the season land. But we went a little bit past our time. But I'm glad that you squeezed that in there because we ain't caught up with y'all in 2 weeks, and it's been, as y'all know, it's so much going on. Probably missing something. Prayers 100%. Out to those people dealing with the hurricane situations down south, North Carolina.
Rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo.
Oh my gosh, rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo. There's a couple other legends that lost their life. Pete Rose.
Day. John Amos.
Not
an athlete. However,
I know, but comedian.
Still a prominent figure in the the African American space.
Yep. Also, I lost a classmate from elementary school to cancer, Jillian.
Sorry to hear that.
So rest in peace to Jillian. It's just been a lot going on. So continue, as we always say, to keep your people close. Tell them you love them. Just stay prayed up. Keep your mind in the right space, because we're in a new month now, man. This is the month of October, whereas Halloween, there's pumpkin spice everywhere. Not leaves falling. Yeah. There's a lot going on, but you got to just take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your family, take care of your people. For those traveling to Houston, obviously, wish us well traveling and all of that good stuff. But our main goal is bring back a W, man.
100%. On a positive note, my little homie, Lil Z, got his first Bills jersey. Josh Allen, my man is a Certified Josh biggest Allen, fan. All right, I love it. My man is out here watching YouTube videos all day.
All right.
I need some Josh Allen highlights. Okay.
Let's get it. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. So I remember those moments, man. You got to cherish those, man. Got a
little me in the making now. Yeah. My man is a full-fledged Bills fan. Yeah. Going to sleep in his Josh Allen jersey.
Oh man, that's real. So that's when you know it's real.
Yeah, we out here.
Yeah, we out there, man. Shout out to Baby Z and the gang. Like I said, man, it's gonna be a fun weekend ahead. Can't wait to get back to y'all next week and just kind of break down everything. But pleasure to get back, and hopefully y'all enjoy, y'all like, y'all share, y'all comment, y'all tell a friend to join us and listen and rock with us, man. This is season 3. This is week 5. It's moving.
It's exciting times here. And again, I've said it a million times already. Enjoy the ride. Again, we're going to take L's along the way. Nobody going defeated. Everybody going to have losses. But throughout this whole process, we watch football, we watch sports for entertainment and to enjoy it. So make sure you enjoy it. Don't let a loss ruin your whole day, your whole week. Go get some air if you need it. But
touch grass.
Have fun. Enjoy it. We got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So
Hall of Famer in the making.
Just embrace it. But yeah, we'll catch y'all up next week. I'm Zyrus, my guy Vel. This is In the Zone with VNC. We'll catch y'all next week.
Peace, mother.